Okay, so very excited to be back. It feels normal. It feels good. This is what I like to do. So this is the holiday look. Keep watching if you want to see how I do it. So you're going to want to get a damp beauty blender or sponge. And mine is from Ricky's NYC. I'm going to go ahead and grab Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Ivory, which it is very yellow for me. So I mix it with Revlon Color Stay in the shade Ivory. So 110. 1.5 pumps of the Too Faced. And then about 2 solid pumps of the Revlon Color Stay. And I use my finger to mix it. And this is just a dabbing motion. And I chose those two together because the Too Faced is very full coverage, but it is quite yellow on its own. And so the Revlon one is more of my shade, but it's not as full of coverage. Working it down the neck. I like to try and move my sideburns. That way, you know, they don't get discolored. And I do normally look away when I'm around my eye area. That way, my eyes do not start watering. I do like to get behind the ear. And I like to add a little extra coverage on my cheeks just because they are so red. So if I have any leftover product, that's normally where I place it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NW15. Placing a little dribble on my hand. Using the sponge on the tip. So applying it away from where I'm actually going to want the product. And then I'm going to work that in. And again, looking away, like up and away, will help your eyes not water when you're trying to place that product on. And this is a great tip for when you're working with clients. They don't know where to look, so they normally will look directly at you, which makes it really awkward. So if you tell them where to look, it's easier and makes them more comfortable. I'm going to dampen my beauty sponge just a little bit more, and I'm going to use the MAC Fix Plus with my Ben Nye translucent setting powder. Just placing that in the cap, and I'm going to use the side that I moistened to pick that product up. It is going to set your concealer where it doesn't move or crease. So again, picking up some more of this powder, I'm going to use just a very cheap old powder brush. So I'm just going to dab my brush in there. Pat off the excess. You still want it to be pretty full. And I like to focus that powder normally where I touch my face the most and where I get the oiliest throughout the day. And baking and setting are different. So if you want more information about that, let me know in the comments down below. So I'm going to just go ahead and buff out again any lines on my eyelid. And I'm going to prime them with Urban Decay's Eyeshadow Potion Primer in the shade Enigma. And again, taking my sponge, I'm going to just buff that out and make sure it's all over the lid. Once you put your primer on, you want to set it with a powder. When you go to blend out a powder on top of a cream, it doesn't blend as beautifully. So using my Ben & Nye translucent setting powder and a, oh lordy, this does not have a name. It is the Amuse G29, I believe. I will link it down below in the description. And I'm basically setting the eyelid. This is a really amazing trick if you have oily eyelids. And that way you don't crease or your shadow doesn't move throughout the day. So I just want to wipe away any excess. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and brush off the setting or the baking from underneath my eye. Moving into eyeshadow, and the products that I'm using are going to be this Anastasia Beverly Hills. I believe this is, yes, World Traveler palette. So I'm going to go ahead and start using this beautiful burnt orange shade. It is called Morocco. I also have some new brushes that I got from Wish. So they're not expensive at all. They're not really a brand either. And I have a lot of the beauty products that I've ordered off of Wish. So if you are interested in maybe a demo or anything like that, let me know in the description bar below. So I picked up Morocco on the tip of the brush. I'm going to focus this more on the crease. And this is more of my transition shade. I'm focusing it more on the outer corner of my eye and then just kind of bringing it up towards my eyebrow. And I'm holding the brush farther away from the bristles. That way I have more blending motion. If I hold it really close, I don't get as much room to blend, so I have to do more work. If I hold it farther away from the bristles, you let the brush blend all on a little. You let the brush do most of the work. So now you're going to go ahead and go in with a chocolatey color for this look, and I'm using Fudge. I'm going to focus this product more on the outer corner, pulling it in towards the inner corner of my eye. Not all the way, not even halfway, like 3/4. So I'm just going to go ahead and deepen that corner up. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the same brush that I did my translucent powder with. I'm just going to buff that product out to make it seamless. The more time you take blending out during each step, the easier and the more flawless look that you're going to achieve. And it's easier to apply your color than it is to take it off. So start with a little amount and then add more if you need. Apply a little bit more of that rusted orange shade, which is called Morocco in the palette that I'm using. I'm going to pick up this Real Techniques brush. It is a shading brush. I'm going to pick up Morocco again and tap that product off just so I don't have an excessive amount. Starting from the outer corner, dragging that towards the inner corner. Again, looking away from, it just makes it a little bit easier to get what you need done. Okay, so if you were to leave it like this, it just doesn't look finished. Alright, so picking up Fudge, I'm going to do the exact same thing, marry those colors together. Same brush, picking up this black, I'm going to place it on the outer corner, pulling it in, and then just softly blending that out. Okay, so once you've added the light layer of black shadow on the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up some more. Same brush. I'm going to go on the top of the lash line, push the shadow up, and then dragging that on the lash line, pushing the product upward. And you'll want to go ahead and get your blending brush and just marry that all together. Or just warming that black shade up. You can always go in with the fudge shade again. And of course, you can do the exact same thing with the Morocco shade, which is just that burnt rustic shade of orange. Make sure everything's blended together. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. So it wouldn't really be my channel if I wasn't using roller lash, of course, by benefit. Going to just lightly coat my lashes. I am going to hit the top of them, just that way they're a little bit stickier to stick to the fake lashes. So people are like, dang, those must be your own lashes. Yeah, they are. They're gilded by Eylure. I'm just going to focus the product on the band, trying to keep it very thin. I'm going to go ahead and place my lash on. I'm going to look down into my mirror that's tilted, and then going to focus on getting that middle where I want it, and then the inner corner, and then the outer corner. And they are easier to apply the more times you warm them. I'm going to go ahead and apply my bottom mascara. Same mascara that I used on the top, which is Roller Lash from Benefit. Okay, and if you really want to up your game, I would recommend using this. Okay, I can take my beauty sponge to help pull my eyelid down without ruining my foundation. And then you're going to feel real sassy, and that's going to be awesome. I'm using NYX Micro Brow in shade Taupe. So I'm going to go ahead and brush my eyebrows kind of where I want them. And then I'm just going to fill in the gaps with this Cool Tut. So focusing on the outer brow. This is more of my difficult brow. It doesn't really have an arch or anything naturally. It's just very... And so now I'm going to set that with Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel Clear. And I have been spinning the brush through the brows and then placing them where I want them. I feel like it gives it more coating. This is great for contouring. I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and contour using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, the powder, in shade, I believe, Light. So dipping into the middle bottom shade. Just going to place that product on and then drag it where I need it and buffing it upward to blend. And of course, because I'm extra, going to do the jawline as well. Gonna just clean up the contour line, taking my Big Nye translucent setting powder, of course, taking a little bit on my beauty sponge, and just gonna clean that up. Alright, and I'm gonna let that sit for just a little bit. I'm gonna add my blush and my highlight. I'm trying to keep it real preserved. I still got the lip paper on it. I'm going to go ahead and say this is the BeccaxJaclynHill Collaboration Face Palette. So I'm going to be using a Rosé Spritz. I guess how you say it. It's a luminous blush. Another Wish brush. Okay. Going to dab both sides into this shade and tap off the extra and just right on the apples of the cheeks. And it shows up a lot more, and it shows up more pigmented in person. So. And of course, it's out. I'm going to use it. Picking up a Real Techniques setting brush. I'm using it as my highlighting brush. I go in with Champagne Pop first. Okay, so I pick up Champagne Pop and then I mix it with Prosecco Pop. Tap off. And just right on the very tops of the cheeks. And a little on the cheek. Apples of the cheeks. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and run it right above my eyebrow because this portion of my face isn't really that big. So I'm trying to make it look a little more like I have a forehead. And still mixing, I'm going to apply to the Cupid's bow. And I'm going to go in with one of my other cheap brushes. It is from, I believe, Walmart. It's an eye blending brush. Go in with the same mixture of Prosecco Pop and Champagne Pop. Dab a little right in there. Snow-like white that is this is a very snow-like sheeny white. I'm going to place that in the corners of my eye. Using Dose of Colors, shade Merlot. So I've got some video ideas that I'm wanting to do very soon, and I was just kind of wanting your opinion on maybe the ones you would like to see the most. So I definitely want to do a video where my husband does my makeup. I think it'd be funny. Maybe stressful. I don't know. Also, I did a little bit of a shopping trip-ish. So I kind of went crazy. I bought a lot of brand names on the Wish app. If you've never heard of it, it is just a very cheap app that you buy things from. So if you want to see that video, let me know in the comments down below. I want Clay to do a voiceover for my video of me just doing my makeup and him tell you what I'm doing / what he thinks I'm doing. So let me know if you guys want to see that or hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please like, subscribe, tell your friends about me, and stay tuned for more videos. Until next time, bye.